everyone, welcome again to Productivity Vibes on Afro Vibes TV. Today we have another person or someone you've known already who has been here before, Amanda Edwards, politician, contestant for the particular post before, and today we have something you've been asking me questions. Okay, so we're gonna go right live to have Amanda Edwards in the studio. I'm gonna ask her questions. Amanda, you're welcome today.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
All right. So the first question people are asking me, what happened? Why did you change from the post of a contestant for the post of a mayor to Congress?
Great question. So I started off running to become the next mayor of the city of Houston. We had a really strong show of support from Houstonians from all over the city. And our goal and mission really was to create a community where everybody, no matter what their background, no matter where they lived, would have an opportunity, not just to be here, but we wanted them to thrive here. And with that mission in mind, when the circumstances of the race shifted a bit, Congresswoman Jackson Lee entered the race, we decided to make a pivot into the Congressional District 18 race, which would still allow us to carry out that same mission, which is to create a community where everybody can thrive. And so we see it as an opportunity to still very much be in service of the community, but in different ways. It allows you to bring a federal set of tools to in your toolkit as opposed to local. And also, I think there's just a lot of energy within the 18th Congressional District in terms of coming up with new ideas, planning for the future, but also solving the challenges that our communities still face.
You know, somebody said, probably those, you're afraid of, a congresswoman, Sheila Jackson, that probably the relationship is not good. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, when you're in the public service arena, it's never a good idea to be guided by fear. You've got to be guided by the courage to do the work that you're seeking out to do. With making the pivot, we certainly recognize that it's a different office, of course, and there are going to be some differences between the two, but there is an opportunity to serve in a way that is meaningful, impacts change in a very important way. Residents in the 18th Congressional District have significant needs as it relates to healthcare, as it relates to economic opportunity, housing, transportation, infrastructure. I can keep going down the list. And so those are the things that can be impacted on the federal level. Separately, I have a great relationship with Congresswoman Jackson Lee. I worked for her many years ago, and have the utmost respect for her as well. So, I know that often what is sensational is what sells, and that's what people try to push out. But it's nothing but respect, and she's done such a tremendous amount of work for our area. Okay,
so I know the last time you came here, it was the vision for being the mayor of Houston. Now it's a different office. Do you have division in your vision?
Yeah, I mean, one of the chief differences, I certainly still talk about meat and potatoes issues, economic opportunity, creating a city where everybody thrives, creating an 18th Congressional District where everybody thrives. But we also have some additional items. When I was growing up, my dad was sick. He got diagnosed with something called multiple myeloma when I was about 10 years old. And I watched my dad go through his medical treatments. He eventually passed away when I was 17, but I remember asking my dad questions about our U.S. healthcare system and what would happen if the insurance were to say no, and what would happen next. And my dad would say things like, well, we just have to figure something else out. And I just felt at that early age, in my early teens, very unsettled with a response like that, and recognized that policy, public service has to be about more than just swivel chairs and name placards and power, right? It's about what policies you promote, what families do you save, what systems do you create? And what I was witnessing is a system that didn't work well. And in my view, we've got to put into place systems that work well for people, especially at the spaces and places where they need it most. So healthcare is one of the areas that, as mayor, you don't really fixate on or have a lot of jurisdiction on or over, but that's one, as a federal, as a member of Congress, you certainly have a huge opportunity to impact. And that's going to be a goal of mine, is to make sure that we're insuring people, but also make sure that people are not underinsured. So often it's the case that you think you have coverage, okay? And then something happens to you and you realize that coverage wasn't so good.
I got you.
And we've got to get people out of that position because it is driving the outcomes that we don't want in our community. So healthcare is one of the key pieces that really just get introduced. Of course, there are others, but that's one major element that's on the table now.
Now, thank you. Mayor's job is more executive. It's more execution. And for the Congress, as a congresswoman, if you get in there, it's going to be more of legislative, law, bills. So transitioning from an executive mindset to lawmaking mindset, how do you want to impact change through bills, lawmaking, to be able to get the results you're talking about, since you will not have the power to execute?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's about being a problem solver. I think one specific way that you can do that is through creating public policy, and you can be very impactful with the laws that you pass, innovative solutions to complicated, lingering challenges that we face. There are a lot of small business owners that are still experiencing many challenges that were born during the pandemic. And so how do we, in this new normal, really address from a policy standpoint the challenges that restaurants still face? I mean, there's a variety of things with the workforce shortage that we've got to figure out, and there may be policy solutions around that. So I've enjoyed, since getting in the race, the questions that people have asked, the concerns they've raised, and being able to collaborate with them around what are the potential solutions that fit and work best for this particular issue in community. And it's been great. So I look forward to the opportunity to make policy. I'm a policy wonk, if you will, so I enjoy that work. But separate, in addition, you also get to push resources down to the city. So there are lots of resources. Earmarks came back some years ago during the pandemic, and also you've had a situation too where we've just got bills that we can pass, resources that we can get, to distribute things. So that's something, a huge ability to impact changes by freeing up and creating grant opportunities and dollars that can be sent to your local community.
Awesome. Now, I know the congresswoman presently there, she's been there for so long, and then she's done so much, in that capacity. What is the gap? What are you bringing in? From your background, from your skill, from where you're coming from over the years, you've been on this journey. So what exactly have you seen? 1, 2, 3 things you would like to bring as a change in Congress sitting?
Yeah, so a little bit about my background. So I grew up in the district, raised there, went to public high school there. For the mighty Eagles out there, swoop, swoop. But I'm from the district and through, and live in the district now. And so certainly my appreciation for the issues that are impacting some of our most vulnerable residents, our seniors. There are some that have still yet to recover since Harvey. Helping and addressing some of their needs, that's going to be a huge piece of the puzzle for me. But in addition to that, creating a focus on helping Houston, helping our 18th congressional district win the future. So we want to have an eye toward the future, and how do we create more innovation, more economic opportunity for people, more opportunities for small businesses of color and women. These are spaces and places that I've done quite a bit of work on as a city council member, having led the city's tech and innovation efforts, which of course has led to the creation of the Innovation District. But separate from that, leading on work that really touched upon the issue of equity and as it relates to small business owners of color and small businesses owned by women and the lack of access to capital, scaling their businesses. We need to get more money in the hands of CDFIs, which are community development financial institutions that lend at greater rates to those sorts of businesses. And so these are things that we can also be developing a federal layer of policy to help support, because we know what the gaps are. And so now executing a strategy where we're not just the most diverse community, but we also become the most equitable community.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. You know, there's something about you, and then some of our viewers have given me this feedback. So, Amanda contested for Senate before, right? You've contested for the mayor. You've contested for this. You've been in the Houston,
City council.
City council. Yeah, good. And they said, oh, she would never rest. She's just going for the next one. Going for the next one. So the question is, what are you afraid of?
What am I afraid of? I don't have a fear. I think, as I mentioned to you, leading out of courage is important. And I think for me, we have to make sure that we put people in place who are going to be relentless, who will not rest until the job is done. I think my persistence, my ability to work hard is driven by a passion, not a fear. It's driven by a commitment to outcomes.
Commitment to outcomes.
And of course, it's the people themselves. So a lot of what I described to you and what you witnessed stems from, as I mentioned, growing up with my dad being ill and me seeing the challenges within the U.S. healthcare system. We got to put people in the office that are going to stop at nothing until the issues are addressed, people are served, and the outcomes are what people deserve them to be. And that's what you see in me as someone who is going to be persistent, someone who doesn't quit, someone who is nimble, someone who works hard, somebody who is committed to the people.
Awesome.
So you're not going to see me, with political banter. That's not who I am. I'm a servant leader at heart. And that means that you take that journey no matter how rough it gets or how long it is or how difficult it may be.
Awesome. Thank you. You know, I'll wrap up this session before we go to the last session and all that. But dealing with your campaign, going to your campaign now, there are people, you deal with people, you deal with processes, you deal with projects. And if you look at these 3 Ps, they're almost like your daily life. You have to meet people, you have got projects to do. I mean, just come from where you are the keynote speaker somewhere. And then you have processes, you have things to do and all that. How do you survive? How do you live? How do you breathe? Can you tell us your productivity secrets?
Yeah, I mean, the truth of it is I do a lot. That's not in question. I think the real energy behind my work is that I love what I do and I'm in line with my purpose. And I think for people, when they're thinking about purpose and alignment with purpose, it gives you fuel to do things that you otherwise might not have the fuel to do because you're in alignment with your purpose. So you get fed when you're doing the things that are aligned with the way you're designed to work and be. And so for me, I love the work. I love helping people. I love impacting change. I love it. So for some, it's like, oh, when does she get rest or whatever? And how's she going to replenish her energy? That is replenishing my energy. And so that's been a blessing of this work is that it's in line with my purpose, which I highly recommend to everybody. Get in line with your purpose.
Purpose is key. Purpose is key to productivity. Right. Sometimes when you talk this way, people will say, oh, she's an angel. She doesn't have any issue. She just come in, purpose, getting things done. So the question is, are there times you feel like human being? When you feel tired, you feel weary, you feel like, oh, should I not? Oh, let me go on. At that time, you feel emotional. So.
Well, it's one of those things. Like, I love the public service, and that is what keeps me thriving and going. But I don't love politics. And so people, don't realize that because I'm in politics, they think, oh, you love all of the pieces. No, I don't love all of the pieces. I navigate through politics in order to get to the public service. But I don't love politics. I don't love the, fight for power. That piece of it doesn't move me. Now, it's something I understand, and it's something I have to navigate because I want to be a public servant. And so you have to do that work, but I'm not here for politics. I'm here to serve the public. And so sometimes it'll be it'll be too much in the politics weeds, and I don't love that as much. And so I always seek the balance. Like, okay, give me some community, give me some community pieces to this where I can connect to my mission. Every time I have a meeting, every single time I have a team meeting, we talk about our mission. And that's so important for me because my mission doesn't have to do with just winning the office. My mission, what we talk about, is what we're going to do for the people after I win. That's the real goal, is the work and the impact that you're trying to create. And there are steps to getting there, which requires you to win the election. But the goal for me always has been creating this transformative change in our community and seeing what we can tackle now and look at in new and bold ways and address that haven't been addressed before. And seeing those people who have lost their confidence or in government, seeing them have that confidence restored because we are impactful and we do the things that we talk about on the campaign trails. That's the type of leader I strive to be, and that's what I keep at the forefront of our conversations rather than just the politics of the day. Because that can wear on you.
All right. Yeah, we're going to go on the break now. But before we go on the break,
okay.
I know I saw on your Instagram page how when you moved to this new contest, before we know, in just like 4 weeks, you raised so much money.
Yeah.
What is the secret of your fundraising?
People have been very excited about my candidacy. It's a couple of things. I announced my candidacy for the 18th Congressional District, which is a historic district. Barbara Jordan represented the 18th Congressional District. Mickey Leland. These are legends. And we have the responsibility to make sure that this next leg of the journey is carried forward in a way that upholds those legacies, that really carries out the work. And part of that made me decide to launch on Juneteenth because of the connection to the long journey, the historic journey we're on. And we're all playing a different role. Mine happens to be in the public service arena, but we all play a role in carrying the next leg of the journey forward. And so we have to ask ourselves, on whose shoulders do you stand and what does that legacy mean and what are you going to do about it? I have many mentors. And
politics?
I have many mentors. Yeah, I have many mentors. It's, you learn from people in different arenas, and when they invest their time in you, you keep holding on to that.
Sheila Jackson, your mentor?
Sheila Jackson Lee, actually, I actually started in her office. Did you know that? That was my first job out of college. So we've kept in great touch all these years, and she's always been just a wise leader in the community. So she's been a great resource to all of us, and we really have been grateful for it. But back to originally the commentary around Juneteenth, it's important that we keep our journey at the forefront of the work that we do, because it gets tiring and it gets gruesome and it's not always easy. And so people got excited because they saw that next leg of the journey. They got to talk about it. They got to envision, what is that going to look like? They got to think about, how can we not just win today, but how do we win for the future? And that's, I think, a space that has really gotten people excited, in addition to, obviously trusting that I'll solve the challenges that folks face, but separate, people having the ability to, reimagine some things and really, forge a path forward.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, so we'll be back for the next few minutes to talk about you. But now, we're going to go on a short break to pay our bills. So, sit on there. Welcome back to AfroVibe TV. All right, now we have Amanda still here with us. So the question I would ask you now is, you are one of the contestants that looks so beautiful, and people are saying, "Oh, she doesn't show her face." I mean, she looks so beautiful. She's contesting. She's looking good. What's the secret of your beauty?
Oh, well, I will say everybody good hygiene. Wash your face. I know all those things, wash your face, all of those real basic things, but always staying consistent with that.
Okay.
And my mother was very, very diligent about that. And so I just followed in her footsteps. But
Okay. So, are there things you pick from home that really help your, be that hygiene life and beauty? Are there things you pick from your mom or from home that been the constant habit?
Yeah, I will say also, just for me, keeping things simple. I know that, people will put a lot of things on TV and products and try this, try that. And she was just very simple with the way she approached things. Cleanse her face and that, steam her face, cleanse her face, and then moisturize, but not overdoing it. So I think there's something to be said, like, just kind of sometimes let your skin rest, and you just have to have good practices.
One of the things that really is, peculiar about you is your age and then the face of people you're representing, younger generation. And then, I know many younger generation are asking questions, how can we also become, Amanda idols?
Yeah.
So what makes you an Amanda idol?
I've been very focused. So I guess I'll look at the camera and say, stay focused, guys. You want to have a bold dream, but you got to stay focused. And that means there's lots of hard work. There is no substitute for hard work and preparation. So know that you've got a lot of hard work in store, but the last piece is be resilient. You are going to hear the word no. So you cannot, as I mentioned, I'm not guided by fear. I don't allow my fear of things to guide my decisions. I lead in ways that pertain to courage. And so with that being said, you want to weigh the considerations, but you know that sometimes that might mean a no, and you're going to have to pick yourself up and keep going. And you can do that. So I would say dream big, stay focused, work hard, and then, of course, be resilient.
Thank you very much. It's been an awesome time with you.
Thank you.
All right. You have something to tell the people, the 18th, districts. What do you want to tell them? 1 minute.
Make sure you follow me and support our campaign. You can find us online at www.edwardsforhouston.com. You can also find us on Twitter, @EdwardsTX, on Facebook and Instagram as Amanda K. Edwards TX. Make sure you follow us, like our posts, but more importantly, share our posts. And if you're so inclined, make sure you help us out by making a contribution to the campaign as well. So all of those things would be helpful. Volunteer, sign up to volunteer, donate. All those things help a campaign go. So again, I want to thank all of you who've been so supportive in this journey. We got out of the gate very, very strong. In fact, we announced my candidacy on Juneteenth. 11 days later, we had already raised $600,000. So we have had lots of great support early on, and we want to keep it going. So be a part of this journey, and I'm excited to have your support and grateful for it as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice having you around.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, this is the end of the show today. I want to say thank you very much for hanging in there. It's been an awesome time. See you next week. Bye.